Hey guys, I hope you're doing good. Just want to throw this in very quickly before the video starts. This was actually filmed, as you guys know, this is about Arsenal. This was filmed about 12 hours or so before Emery got sacked. So it got filmed, I think it was the 28th or the 29th of November. I think it was the 28th, right in the evening, just after the Frankfurt game. So it was quite by chance that Emery actually got sacked. I make some references in this to things that Emery could do or could have done or whatever. Obviously, all of this was before I knew he was sacked. So if that gets a little bit confusing at times, I do apologise. There wasn't too much I could do about it. I didn't know he was going to lose his job at the time. So regardless, I hope you enjoy the video. And yeah, thanks for watching.
Games. Whoop. Let's go. Hursty Games, and this is how we do. Now it's time we team up.
Hey there guys, welcome back to Hursty Games, and welcome to something that could become a bit of a series if it's something that you guys like to see, or it could be a bit of a one-off. I don't mind. It's up to you guys. But today we're going to look and see if I can save Arsenal, in one season of simulating games. Now, it's pretty public knowledge that Arsenal are not having a fantastic season, and that a lot of people are calling for Emery to be sacked. If I could, I would try and start this simulation where we're at currently in real life, like where we're at right now, but that's not something I have the ability to do on console. However, what I can do is treat it like I've joined at the start of the season like Emery has, and do what I think should be done in order to get Arsenal moving in the right direction. Now, the slight exceptions obviously to this will be that I will be selling some players that he may not have done, and I'll be buying some players that he might not have done. I will try and keep things within some level of realism. So for example, if those players moved to a new club, I'm not going to try and pick those guys up. And I'm going to try and pick up players that I do actually think genuinely would do well and would help improve this Arsenal side. I'm also not necessarily going to be picking the same lineup as Emery. I could be playing my complete own formation that I think will be suited. And before this starts, my aims are top 4. I think top 4 right now, especially when you look at some of the other teams in the league and how they're performing, would be a fantastic finish for Arsenal. I don't think aiming to win the league is reasonable because Liverpool and Man City are just storming it, and I don't see anyone taking the league within the next couple of seasons, honestly. But teams like Leicester, teams like Chelsea, in this simulation, Spurs will probably do quite well. Again, United might be up there. There are teams that Arsenal should be competing with for that top 4 finish that at the moment, they're just not looking well enough to hit. But without further ado, I'm going to get into it, start the simulation, and we'll start off looking at who we're going to try pick up. Okay, just to explain straight off the bat, I'm not going to do a pre-season tournament. It's just going to give us extra money. We're already probably going to have a little bit more money than Arsenal would be theoretically spending. One thing I do have to bear in mind is they did buy Nicolas Pepe, which was a very, very big, expensive signing. So I know I'm going to have to sell players in order to make somewhat level of realism in the fact that I'm looking to bring people in. Okay, so you can see in front of you the starting lineup I have gone with. Now, first of all, in regards to captaincy, because at the moment you can see Aubameyang has got it. Again, this is a slight neutral point of view. I'm not an Arsenal fan, so this is from a bit of an outsider looking in. Honestly, a player I would love to give it to is Torreira. I know that Torreira is a little bit new at the club. I know that Torreira maybe isn't always in the starting lineup, so wouldn't necessarily get it. However, somebody who I do see as a bit of a leader, been at Arsenal for a long time and understands how the club runs, is Bellerin. I do think I'm going to give the captaincy to Bellerin. I know there's a lot of talk about Ozil and all these other guys, but I think Bellerin, for me, personally, again, as a neutral, is the right choice. And at the moment, before any purchases and sellings, this is my starting lineup. We've gone with Leno in goal, which is an obvious choice. Bellerin, Socrates, David Luiz and Tierney across the middle. 2 holding midfielders in Torreira and Ceballos. I think Ceballos is a more attacking player. However, I do think he can play that kind of deeper role and take the ball forward. Sometimes, like you see the likes of Eriksen do at Tottenham, plays slightly deeper than you expect, but then brings that ball through. Hopefully he does that in simulation. I've got no control over it. But then out wide, we've got Pepe and we've got Aubameyang. Now, I want Aubameyang in the starting 11 with Lacazette. I do want to make sure I play both of them. But I don't think I fancy my chances playing 2 up front. I think a 5-man midfield is quite important. I've then got Ozil behind Lacazette. Now, this might sound controversial, but there are big players in this team that I will be getting rid of and we're going to talk about those guys next. Okay, so a player that's going to be a little bit out of luck in regards to playing as frequently as maybe he could be is Kolasinac. Kolasinac in FIFA at least is higher rated than Tierney. I do think Tierney is still adapting to English football. It is quite a step up from the Scottish League, going straight into one of the bigger clubs historically in the Premier League. So I'm not going to get rid of Kolasinac. Is a player that I think has really shown he wears his heart on his sleeve for Arsenal and does show a bit of grit and the fact that he, respects the club. So I'm not going to play Kolasinac all the time, but I don't think I want to sell him. I don't think that would be massively realistic. Somebody I will be looking to sell is Mustafi. I don't think Mustafi has a place for me in this squad. And I think in real life there are links with him potentially moving away at the end of the season or potentially in January. So I'm going to be looking to sell him and offload him straight off the bat. David Luiz would be somebody I sold. Obviously, we've only just got him in real life, so I'm not going to sell him because that would be unrealistic. But I don't think he is the long-term answer. Socrates, I think I'm going to keep. It's a bit of a tricky one because I do plan on bringing in a big named centre-back that will be definitely playing every single game, because I think it's the first position that Arsenal do really need to improve on is a strong centre-half. But I am going to keep hold of Socrates, potentially partner him up with the player we bring in. The other players I'm looking to offload, honestly, I might loan out Willock. I know in real life he's going to get a bit of game time, but because it's only one season, I think I'm going to avoid loaning the players out. I just don't think there's any point in it if we're only going to be doing this for one season. Granit Xhaka, with all of the controversy that's happened over the last about 6 or so months, I am going to transfer list and sell Granit Xhaka. I'm kind of treating it like it's happened before the season, if that makes sense. So I'm going to sell him now. I'm treating it in that sense. Now, I'm not going to transfer list Mesut Ozil, but I really want to. I really think one of the best ways for Arsenal to go forward is to have a player that is going to be performing consistently at the central attacking position. Part of me thinks to transfer list him, part of me thinks I'll include him in a swap deal, but realistically I don't think a swap deal would happen in real life, so actually I've changed my mind. I'm listing Mesut Ozil. I don't know how that's going to be perceived in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Is it smart or is it stupid to transfer list Mesut Ozil? And give me your reasoning why. I want to have a discussion about this. So the first thing I'm going to look at in regards to bringing players in is a new centre-back, as I said before. Now, I've got 2 players on my radar immediately. Juventus, or Piemonte Calcio as they are in FIFA, but Juventus in real life made a big marquee signing in the name of De Ligt. Obviously buying him from the Eredivisie. Big purchase, big potential for a 19-year-old, and so is getting a fair amount of game time. I know that Juventus kind of rotate their backline a little bit, with the likes of Bonucci and Chiellini both rotating in and out of the squad. Sometimes they play a back 3 as well, so sometimes all 3 are playing. However, someone like Rugani is going to be missing out on as much game time as he would have done before, with the likes of De Ligt coming in. So my thought process is, I'm going to scout Rugani, and I am going to scout Bonucci. Of the 2, I think they're more likely to let go of Bonucci than they are Chiellini, even though Chiellini is 34 years of age. I think Bonucci would be the person out of the 2 they're more likely to let go. Another club that has many centre-backs and actually would have a link with Emery, the fact that it's the last club he was managing, is Paris Saint-Germain. Going over to the French League and going to the French Giants, you can see they have got 7 centre-backs on their books. Thiago Silva being their captain as far as I'm aware, and Marquinhos being one of their big potential players coming through the ranks. I'm not saying Kimpembe doesn't play, I'm well aware that he does get game time. However, if push came to shove and PSG had to pick to play one or the other, I think they'd be picking Marquinhos over Kimpembe. So I am going to scout Kimpembe. Again, this one is in regards to the links from Emery, not necessarily like, oh, they would definitely be able to pick him up. I think the Emery factor might convince somebody from PSG to come over. I'd love to go for Thiago Silva, but again, him being the big centre-back at PSG, and again, I'm fairly sure the captain, I do think it is a tad unrealistic. Talking of ways that Emery can link to players they potentially look to sign in, obviously Emery is from Spain. I know that it doesn't always mean just because the manager is a certain nationality that they automatically sign players of that nation. However, we have seen things like that happen in the past, Arsene Wenger being a prime example of signing many French players, and we have seen this happen in the past with other managers as well, and I do think it wouldn't be unheard of for Emery to look for a Spanish attacking midfielder if Ozil was to go. So I've looked at Luis Alberto from Lazio, a very, very good, very, very average rating and age. I don't think he's too far in his career, and I also don't think that he's too high rated or too low rated to potentially come in and be a like swap for Ozil. Again, in terms of FIFA, he is an 84 rated player, the same as Ozil, and he does have good potential. However, if I was looking to bring in a big marquee purchase, I would look straight at Isco. Isco's a player that does seem to be a little bit inconsistent in regards to his actual performance time on the pitch for Real Madrid, often being left out for the likes of Modric. However, it has been shown many times that Isco is a phenomenal player, fantastic with his feet, and really can turn a game on its head. I'm personally a big fan of Isco and do think he's one of the most underrated attacking midfielders in the world. This being said, he is going to be very expensive, and I don't think he would be pick-upable in the same transfer window as somebody like Pepe, maybe even the same season. So with all this information and all the stuff we have just discussed, I will be going through the season. I'll be showing you guys the results of the games that we play. I'll be showing you guys selling of players, purchasing of players, and I'll give you consistent updates as to how we're doing in the league, maybe once every month or once every other month. So without further ado, I think it's time to get into it. Let's try and fix Arsenal. Can we also appreciate, I think I look hella good with the cap. I might have to get one of them. Okay, so we have had our first sale of a player, and that is Granit Xhaka. He's gone to Villarreal for 26.5 million, 22 million of which goes straight into our kitty, but 26.5 million for Granit Xhaka. Okay, so not too long after the Granit Xhaka sale, we've made our first purchase, and that is Luis Alberto from Lazio. He cost us £49.4 million on a £74,000 a week wage. Pretty happy with that. I think it was slightly more realistic than Isco. Luis Alberto isn't necessarily a household name in the UK maybe, whereas I think someone like Isco probably is. So I thought it was maybe just a little bit more realistic as our Ozil replacement. Our second player leaving the club, we have got Mustafi heading back over to Germany, going to Wolfsburg for a £15.7 million fee, 12.5 of which come to us, so £15.7 million for Mustafi. And interesting fact, Liverpool came in for Ozil and they thought 42.5 was too much. Is what it is. Okay, we have made our second signing. This one I think is a little bit more controversial, but we have picked up Leonardo Bonucci from Juventus. Cost us about, I think it was £35 million, which is quite expensive for a 32-year-old, but he is going to bring a lot of experience in the back of the pitch, hopefully help us defend a little bit and concede less goals than Arsenal are conceding at the moment. I think he's on 120 grand a week. I'm pretty happy with the purchase, 86 rating, so he's going to be really crucial in that back line. And if he was brought in, would he maybe become the captain eventually? I'm not too sure. We're sticking with Bellerin, but we're going to add Alberto and Bonucci to the starting 11 for sure. One thing that is a little bit difficult for me is the fact that in regards to FIFA, I would want to update my sort of backup striker. If I'm looking to play Aubameyang and Lacazette, I would need another backup striker. However, Martinelli in real life is actually playing quite well. So what I am going to do is I'm going to put Martinelli on a little bit of training just to get him nearer to that 75 rated mark, just to give us a bit of a chance if we do need somebody to come on off the bench in the simulated games. We have someone that's okay and actually in real life is performing a bit better than a 71 rated player. But otherwise, that is all the purchases we're going to make for this transfer window. Again, we might have some sales. Someone like Ozil might end up leaving. We've got about 4 outstanding offers for him. I am going to put him on the bench. I'm going to be taking off Willock for now, which feels a bit bad to do because he's a good youth potential player. But we're going to put Ozil onto the bench just because at the moment, he would be on the bench if he's not playing for us. And if he's being linked to go away, he's not going to start, especially when we've just splashed out the cash on someone like Luis Alberto. So the games are coming up soon, but of course I'll let you know if any other players leave beforehand. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, so possibly the biggest and most controversial email we'll receive in this entire video. Mesut Ozil has left for West Ham for 38.5 million. Now the only other clubs that came in were Liverpool, who thought our initial ask was too high of 42 million. It's the same I said for West Ham and also the same I said for PSG. But PSG came back with a £31 million offer. I accepted both because I thought I'm being more realistic if he went to PSG. But West Ham is where he went, £38 million as well. Fair enough. But with all that done, with all of the transfers finished, we get into our first game of the season. Now, obviously, it's a bit different to different career modes we've done in the past. We've simulated games. This is going to happen immediately, as soon as I hit go. So you'll see the team as it pops up, the team that we're playing with, and obviously you'll see the score as soon as it loads up. A 3-0 win, Nelson coming off the bench to get one, Lacazette getting two, a good start. Okay, second game of the season, this time we are at home to Burnley. They themselves started off with a win as well. They don't carry on though. 2-0, Pepe and Luis Alberto, the two new signings. Obviously Pepe wasn't our signing, but he was a new signing to the club. 2-0, it's a good start. Okay, now arguably one of the toughest games of the season, only 3 games in. It's against Liverpool. We are away, which is even worse, but we're playing our strongest team, or what I would consider is our strongest or main team. We're just going to have to pray and hope the simulation gods are on our side today, and they are not. 3-1 loss, big bad news, 90th minute, Leno gets injured. That could be problematic. This could be a problem. 6 weeks without Leno. Good. Okay, so I'm actually only going to make one change in the cups, and that is Martinez in goal, obviously for the injured Leno. Now, I know a lot of people would say, change the team, play a youth team. Honestly, I think with the lack of form Arsenal have been in recently, I would just play your strongest team, get the confidence going, and get the wins. Alberto popping up with 2, Lacazette getting 1. We still concede, but it's a win. That's the main thing. Another game we really could do with our starting keeper is the derby, Arsenal against Spurs. We're at home, they're in decent enough form, lost to City recently though, but we're just going to have to play it, see what happens, and we lose 4-0. Okay, I probably would have been sacked after that. Emery doesn't look too bad now, does he? Okay, now we need some sort of bounce back in form, and hopefully we can do that away to Watford. Again, same starting lineup until I see problems, big problems. We stick with the same team. If we don't get a win here, or we play badly here, there were potentially going to be changes. I might put Luiz in for a bit over Socrates, see if that makes a difference. We were 2-0 up until the 90th minute, so it was just a late goal we conceded. Okay, we now have our first Europa League game, and it is away to Frankfurt. I'm not going to lie, I actually don't remember how this game went. I did try and do my best to catch up with some of the results, so I had a bit of an inkling as to how we were doing along the way. A 2-2 draw, it's in the group, it could be better. Lacazette missing a penalty, but it's a point in the group. A very quick next game, we're at home to Aston Villa. Again, we should really be winning, especially at home. So we're going to have to see how we do. 4-0, that is more like it, playing much better now. Let's try and keep this form up. Okay, next game in the Carabao Cup is at home to Sheffield United. No Mugs, obviously doing really well in real life in the league. Leno is back from injury, but not fully fit yet, so I left him out. All is good, 2-0 win, and I think that's Aubameyang's first goal. Okay, Leno back in the starting lineup and back at a good time away to Man United. Two teams in real life that are underperforming, and we come out on top with Ceballos getting 2 goals from that CDM position, kind of doing what I was expecting him to. Hopefully, the simulated games are doing what I thought, attacking from CDM. You love to see it. Standard Liège up next game in the Europa League. Can we do well here in the group? 4-1 win. You love to see it. Lacazette is scoring lots of goals. So our next game is home against Bournemouth. Just before we start this, David Luiz has handed in a transfer request. It's taken a couple of months and I've upset him because he's not played a single game. Honestly, I'm not too upset with that. I personally don't think he was quite the right choice to make one centre-back purchase. I think it would have required a change in formation for Luiz to be played efficiently and effectively in this Arsenal side. Hasn't cut it for me, and you know what? A 2-1 win, it's fine with me. We've played them once in the Cup, and now we're playing them in the league. Away to the Blades, hopefully we can pick up 3 points here. I'd like to think that we're capable of it, and we are 1-0. The captain, Bellerin, scoring. Luis Alberto going off injured. Not something we wanted to see. Luis Alberto only out for a week, so we'll leave him in the midweek Europa League game, and hopefully he'll be back for the weekend. Okay, away to, I'm not even going to try and say it, the Portuguese team in our Europa League group. I brought Guendouzi on and pushed Ceballos to cam, put Luis Alberto on the bench. Hopefully it's not too much of a change of personnel. It's not 2-0, and Guendouzi does actually get a goal. Fair play to him. Our next game is another Carabao Cup game, this time at home to Leeds. No mugs, Nketiah is probably going to play, which is obviously wouldn't happen in real life. Luis Alberto back in, so back to our main team. 3-1 win, Pepe getting 2, Lacazette getting a goal. He's doing very well in all competitions. We have had a training injury, and Socrates is going to be out for 4 weeks. Kind of sucks now that David Luiz doesn't want to play. Our next game is against Wolves. This is our 10th game of the season, so after this game I will get you guys all caught up with what the league is looking like. We brought in Holding as our replacement for Socrates while he's injured. It was a close one. It's 3-2. The big worry there, Bonucci getting injured. This could be problematic. Lacazette getting 2 though. Yep, big problems. Bonucci out for 6 weeks, which means we don't have either of our back 2 for 4 weeks, and then Bonucci will be another 2 weeks. This could be a problem. However, before we get into the stresses that are the rest of the season and the injury problems we have, you can look at the table. We're currently in 5th place, so I'm not too upset with that. We do have a game in hand. If we win that game in hand, which I think is against Crystal Palace, it is against Crystal Palace, you can see it on the screen there, we do go 3rd place, and the only teams we're behind are Man City and Liverpool, both of which are unbeaten. 11 games each with 11 wins each. But I do feel optimistic that we can win against Crystal Palace, even with a makeshift defence. I'm probably going to have to play David Luiz, even though he literally hates me. But a good start. Okay, our chance to get into 3rd place. Arsenal against Crystal Palace. Holding and David Luiz, our centre-back partnership. A little bit nervous because David Luiz does actually despise me. But a 5-1 win, that is a fantastic performance. 5 separate goal scorers as well. You love to see it. Some very, very close fixtures means that we do have to change the formation or the team a little bit. Chambers coming in and Guendouzi coming in. The tightest 2 players on the pitch were Ceballos and Holding, so give them a bit of a break before we play on the weekend. A 2-1 win. Lacazette, he's been our man this season. Okay, the squad goes back to normal to take on Leicester away from home. So again, Holding and Luiz replacing our 2 current injured centre-backs. We just got to hope and pray. And a 3-1 win with David Luiz scoring. This could be his turnaround part of the season, honestly. Socrates is nearly back to full fitness, but he's going to make it onto the bench for today against Southampton, a home game. Again, expecting and hoping for 3 points here, which we do get. A close game, but Lacazette getting basically his expected goal a game at the moment. Just to timestamp the episode a little bit, this game happened tonight, the night I am filming this. Arsenal actually lost this game 2-1 in real life to Frankfurt, so we've got to try and outdo that to be knowing that we're doing better. 4-2, still conceded 2, but we scored 3. Pepe's hat-trick making the difference. Away to Norwich is our next game of the season. Again, another one of those games that I do hope we can simulate and win. And we do. Aubameyang getting 2, which is good to see because he hasn't scored many goals this season. And Lacazette with a brace himself as well. The guy's unstoppable. It's the quarter-final of the Carabao Cup and we are away to Leicester. A bit nervous about this one because we've been playing pretty well up to now. Not many droppings of points. No need to be nervous. 5-0. My word. Time to play against potentially Ozil at West Ham. Same lineup. Bonucci on the bench, however, because he's nearly back to full fitness now as well. 3-0. Ozil. Did Ozil play? I can't even see his name on the bench. Wow. Not looking good for Ozil, is it? Okay, it's the final game of the group stage. We are comfortably through, 5 points clear. 13 points from the 5 games we have played, and we're actually on an 11-game winning streak right now. So if we win this, it is a 12-game winning streak, which is unbelievable. And we do 2-0 Bellerin and Pepe getting us the 2 goals to see us through comfortably in the group. I shouldn't have mentioned our winning streak because look who we come up against next. Man City, who undoubtedly are playing fantastic with themselves. Socrates and Bonucci finally partnering again in the back of the defence. We just have to hope and pray here. We just have to hope and pray. And a 3-1 win. Boys, that is massive. I can only assume that they are without Edison. Carson in goal. Bravo on the bench. I can only assume Edison has been injured. And that is massive. 3-1 win. Tierney getting sent off. But you know what? The points are massive there. Okay, a few changes here. I didn't realise that Socrates actually got injured in that last game and so cannot play this game. His fitness was through the floor. So we brought David Luiz back in, Kolasinac in for the suspended Tierney, and hopefully 3 points here against Brighton. It is 3 points, 3 goals. It's looking good at the moment. Our next game's away to Everton. I'm getting so nervous with every game. They're in bad form, but they've played 3 very, very big teams. So hopefully we can continue that trend. We do. 3-0 Bellerin getting sent off this time. Aubameyang getting injured. But 3 goals. Hopefully Aubameyang's not out long. Aubameyang is out for 6 weeks. Now Aubameyang's not getting many goals. That's one thing I have definitely noticed. Obviously he's playing on the wing, so he's not going to be getting as many goals as Lacazette is. I don't know, however, how many assists he's been getting, so we're going to have to see what we can do makeshift-wise to bring in an actual left mid. Our next game is away to Bournemouth. Maitland-Niles coming in for the suspended Bellerin, and we did make another change. Oh yeah, it was Martinelli coming in for Aubameyang, obviously because Aubameyang is injured. Martinelli now at a 75 rating. I do think he would be the go-to winger if there was an injury like that, so we're going to have to wait and see how he does. He starts off with a goal in a 3-1 win. Tobias Martinelli and Alberto. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but we are doing incredibly well. Another tough game, home to Chelsea. We're just going to have to see if we can carry on this winning streak. Bellerin back in, Martinelli still in, and it's a 1-1. It is a draw. We were down to 10 men, however, in the 2nd minute. So to get a point, basically playing the entire game with 10 men, that's not too bad. However, that incredible winning streak we went on did see us up to 2nd place in the table, ahead of City, ahead of Spurs. City obviously dropping off massively after losing Edison. They were on 11 games, 11 wins. So in their next 9 games, they've won 3, drawn 3, lost 3. That is a massive dip in form for them. But 17 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses. We're looking good. Okay, it is the 1st of January and it's at home to Man United. 2nd versus 6th. Hopefully we can do well. David Luiz in for the suspended Bonucci, obviously getting sent off in the last game, and it is another 1-1. It's another draw. I'm going to have to see if I can stop this drawing habit we're getting into. A few changes for our first round in the FA Cup, obviously the 3rd round in the competition. We bring in Guendouzi, we bring in Holding, just a little bit of rotation because a couple of players are tired. But like I said, for me personally, a club that hasn't won a cup in a long time, I'm trying every single cup, seeing how we do in each one. 3-0, big result, I'm very happy. Now we are in January, and for me personally, I don't think we're really in the need to spend any more money. The way I'm kind of treating it is Pepe was a massive signing at the start of the season in real life for Arsenal, and I've made some big purchases. I think I'm going to allow myself one purchase. Thinking about it, I think one purchase is sufficient. I've just got to decide what position that's going to be in. And in all honesty, it's going to be a left mid. Aubameyang has been playing there all season and seems to be doing a good enough job. However, I've decided I'm going to play him on the bench or start him and rotate between him and an actual legitimate left midfielder. So I have the player in mind that I'm looking to sign. I've just scouted him because I just want to make sure I'm putting the right price in for him. But before that, we have our semi-final game at home to Tottenham. Last time we played Tottenham, it wasn't a pretty sight. Hopefully we can do better this time in the cup. And you know what? Tottenham seem to be our weak team to play against. 2-1 away, again away to Spurs. God, I hate Spurs. Bonucci has been injured there for a week, so he is going to be probably missing from our next game as well, which does suck. Now I'm kind of annoyed because the player I wanted to sign was Ryan Fraser. Somebody who seems a little bit in and out of the Bournemouth side in real life. I definitely think deserves first team football there, and I think would actually be somewhat realistic if he wasn't being given consistent football. However, he's only got 6 months on his contract, so I can't sign him now. I'd have to sign him on a pre-contract, which sucks. We now have Sheffield United at home in the league. Only change is Guendouzi coming in for Torreira because Torreira was suspended. Otherwise, it's a strong starting 11 and it's a 4-0 win. Lacazette getting to Martinelli still picking up the odd goal, which is nice to see. One thing I forgot to mention is I have actually scouted another player. It's just going to take a couple of weeks for that scout report to come in. So in our away game to Chelsea, Aubameyang is fit enough to be on the bench, not quite fit enough to start, so the bench is where he will be for us. Hopefully a win, and it is a 2-0 win. Pepe and Luis Alberto, loving you up, boys. No, you're not going crazy. We have just played Chelsea, but now we've got them in the FA Cup. Home, again, we're playing the strong team. I'm not messing about. I want a trophy if possible. A 2-2 draw does mean a replay, which isn't ideal. So our third and final signing of this episode series, I guess, has been made, and that is Leon Bailey. As I said, wasn't my first choice. Nothing against Bailey. I just think Fraser would have been a slightly more realistic target and pickup. Cost me £45.1 million, £66,000 a week. Be a fantastic step in at left mid while we kind of rotate with Aubameyang, and obviously that gives us a good option off the bench having Aubameyang. I am a great believer that Aubameyang and Lacazette in real life should play in the same team. It's what I've done this entire career mode. Aubameyang, however, not getting many goals, and I think realistically, if he wasn't picking up many goals or necessarily getting too many assists, he would be dropped, and I think realistically they'd pick in another player to cause a bit of contention and a bit of a competitiveness for the position. But I'm very happy with the purchase of Bailey, picking up the young Jamaican. I think he's going to be really, really good for us. So our next game is one I didn't expect to play. I completely forgot the Carabao Cup semi-final would have been over 2 legs. So we lost the first one 2-1 to Spurs. Second one, we're away from home. I don't think we've got a point against Spurs all season, and that will not start today. 3-2 loss, we're out the cup, absolutely gutted. I forgot to mention that Leon Bailey did actually start that last game against Spurs, but this is his first start in the Premier League. Hopefully we can start off with winning ways for young Bailey. Hopefully he can do well for us, and it's a 4-0 win, and Bailey does get himself a goal. Lacazette continuing to perform. Although Bailey scored on his debut, I am going to bring Aubameyang back into the left mid position for the replay in the FA Cup against Chelsea. We need a win, and we lose. That means we are out of both of the cups. I'm so I wanted to get a cup. So sadly, we have gone out of both of the cups, but I guess that means we could arguably concentrate on the 2 bigger trophies at hand in the league and the Europa League. Next game in the league is at home to Newcastle. Aubameyang keeping his place, so we start the same 11. And it's 4-1. Aubameyang doesn't score. Tierney goes off injured after getting a goal. It's a win. So Tierney in that last game injured, only out for 9 days. He is back, but I'm going to be sensible and play Kolasinac. Otherwise, Bailey comes in for Aubameyang. Hopefully he can do well again for us. 4-0. Luis Alberto going off injured but getting a brace, and Lacazette getting another 2 in the league. You can't stop him. Okay, our round of 32 opponent in the Europa League is Genk. Now we are away in the first leg. Alberto did have a slight knock, but I've kept with him and I've brought Aubameyang in for the away leg. I'm going to give Bailey a chance at home because he hasn't played a home game yet. 4-0 win. Alberto going off but not injured, which is nice to see. David Luiz coming on and getting a goal as well. 4-0. I'm pretty confident for this round. So as I said, in the home game against Everton, Bailey is going to come on and play. Ceballos playing at cam because Alberto still had that knock, so I'm not going to risk him in this game. And Guendouzi coming in at CDM. They're in good winning form, but so are we. So hopefully we can keep up that run. It's a draw. That sucks a little bit, but it's not a loss. That's the main thing. After a disappointing draw in the league, our home leg in the round of 32 against Genk, we've just gone with the strongest team. We need a nice, convincing win to get us back into form. And we have got a 2-0 win, Torreira and Pepe scoring. We're definitely through to the round of 16. One of the toughest games of the season up next, away to Man City. I'm almost 100% sure they have Edison back now as their form has gone through the roof again. As you can see, 3 very convincing wins there. We're sticking with the same 11. I've kept the exact same 11, which hasn't happened in a little while, but we get a draw. You know what? A draw against City is actually fantastic. And it's that man Lacazette again, I'm telling you. Okay, the next game is home to West Ham, bringing Bailey in for Aubameyang, and I've decided unless we're forced to for injury, that's going to be the only rotation we have in the squad for as long as we can last in the season. 2-0 win, 2 goals from Pepe. I think having the strongest team we can for the rest of the season is the best way we cement ourselves a top 4 finish. In the round of 16, and no disrespect to Genk, but we have a tougher opponent in the face of Sevilla, a good Liga Santander team. Again, sticking with the same 11, Bailey in instead of Aubameyang. 4-0, Bailey gets a knock. Hopefully he's not out for long, but our front 4 providing. That is not what we wanted to see. Bailey out for 5 weeks, so the rotation is pretty much gone again. That sucks. Okay, away to Brighton. As we know, Aubameyang coming in for Bailey, but that is the only change that we are making. 3 points has got to be what we get here, and it is what we get. Bonucci, Tierney and Pepe popping up with the 3 goals. You'll love to see it, boys. Obviously a nice big win in the first leg. We're going to run with the same team. As I said, I'm going to try and keep rotation to a minimum unless our hand is forced. A 2-3 win, an injury to Bellerin, which does suck a little bit. Hopefully, again, not out for long. Main thing is, though, we're through to the quarterfinals. Doesn't rain when it pours. Bellerin out for 2 months, which absolutely sucks. The only real right-back option we have is Holding or Chambers. I think it might be Chambers. Or Maitland-Niles. Kind of forgot about Maitland-Niles, but that's a big step down. And our captain gone. Not quite as long and not quite as big in regards to first team football and injury. But Guendouzi's out for a week in a training injury. I hope you guys know when I saw it flash up saying training injury, my heart stopped for a good couple of seconds. So Bailly is now back on the bench, still not fully fit by any stretch of the imagination, but Maitland-Niles coming in for the injured Bellerin, who's going to be a fair few more weeks. But we're at home to Norwich, a winnable game, and a game we do in fact win. 3 goals, Lacazette. I'm just saying, the guy's nearly got 30 goals this season. Man United is not the team I wanted to see in our quarter-final run in the Europa League. They've been in fantastic form. Same lineup, I'm nervous. This is not the team I wanted to come up against. But a 2-2 draw away is not bad. 2 away goals. We just need a clean sheet at home. That's all we need. With Bonucci being suspended, David Luiz steps into the starting lineup for our away game against Wolves in the league. At this point, we just need to keep trying to push for 3 points every single game, and we do just that. Aubameyang getting a goal, which is nice to see. Pepe and Torreira making it 3-1. Bonucci back for the Europa League game, but Socrates suspended this time, so David Luiz coming in for him instead. Otherwise, the same 11. And I'm nervous. Again, 2-2 in the first one. We lose 2-1. We go out in the quarterfinals absolutely gutted. That honestly was our last real chance at silverware. I don't see us beating Liverpool in the league, let's be honest. So we crashed out of the Europa League in the quarterfinals to Man United. However, and this does show how unrealistic FIFA can be, we are currently in second place, 2 points behind Liverpool. What? Now, I know that Man City would never be down on 71 points. It just is very unrealistic. And I don't think Arsenal are going to be second place anytime soon, like I said at the start of the episode. But there's no denying the changes we have made have been very impactful. On FIFA at least, I'm well aware it's much easier to be a manager virtually than it is in real life. So with only 6 games left in the league and only being 2 points behind Liverpool, we'd want to play our strongest team. Obviously, still no Bellerin. Both of our CDMs are suspended, so Guendouzi and Chambers stepping in, and I brought in Bailey, and I brought in Bailey because why not weaken the team even more, right? Take out your second highest rated player. Regardless, we go into it, and we do win 2-1. Bonucci getting injured. Hopefully that's not a long-term injury. Lacazette being the man he is, carrying us this season, and Bailey getting a goal. So away to Southampton. All of these games are big games. I keep going to say big games. Every game at this point now is a big game. And Pepe coming up clutch. Lacazette missing a penalty in the end. Very unlike him. But 3 points. That's the main thing. This is undoubtedly the biggest game of this episode. At home to Liverpool. We're currently 2 points behind them with a game in hand. If we draw this game, we give ourselves a real good chance of winning the league. If we win this, the league is then ours to lose. I'm very nervous. I'm well aware this is incredibly unrealistic, but I don't care. I set out to try and fix Arsenal, and with 3 points today, we could do just that. I'm hoping for at least a point. 3 points has got to be the aim. I'm well aware that FIFA will probably mess me up, but we're going to go for it. Let's see if we can do this. Oh my word. They must have had their keeper injured again. Alisson must have been out. Lonergan was in goal. We have been incredibly lucky. We played City once and they didn't have Edison. And we played Liverpool and they didn't have Alisson. That is unbelievable. Luck was on our side today, and boy am I grateful for it. I think this could be it, boys. With that win, as you can see, we still have the game in hand over Liverpool, and we are a point ahead of them as well. An incredible position to be in that I did not expect to be in at all. I know it's just FIFA. I know it's a career mode. I'm actually gassed. I'm so happy. In the game against Liverpool, I kind of skimmed over the fact that Maitland-Niles got injured. He's out for 3 weeks. Bellerin is nearly back to full fitness, so he's on the bench. So Chambers comes in for this game against Villa to just basically hold the fort and hopefully help us get a lead and a win, and he does just that. Pepe with 3. He's picked up some clutch goals in this second half of the season, and Lacazette still doing what Lacazette does. If there was a team I did not want to play right now, it's Tottenham Hotspurs. It's away. They're 3 points behind us, and they have a better goal difference. We know exactly what Tottenham have done to us this season. We haven't beat them. We haven't even drawn against them once this season. A loss here pretty much means that we lose the league and we lose it to Tottenham. Possibly the worst outcome that would be possible. And about 2 minutes ago I was so happy, and now I'm so nervous. We're just going to get into it. I'm actually proper nervous. Come on, please, boys. That could be the biggest goal Aubameyang has scored in his career, virtually or real life. It doesn't get better than this, Pierre. It doesn't get better than this, mate. All that stands between us and Arsenal's first piece of silverware in I don't know how many years, and for it to be the Premier League trophy as well, would be fantastic. It's a home game against Watford. Tottenham are away to Crystal Palace, a very winnable game for them. But home to Watford has got to be a win for us as well. I'm playing the strongest team. The main team that has got us, not quite by themselves, but for a majority of the journey here as these 11 players. Can we do it? Yes, we can. It's a 1-0. We couldn't make it any closer. Guys, we did it. We didn't just fix Arsenal. We overachieved and we won the blooming Prem. I'm actually speechless. In the end, Spurs got a draw against Crystal Palace, so we actually win the league by 5 points. 5 points clear of Spurs. 5 points clear of Liverpool. A whopping, and I mean whopping, 11 points clear of Man City. We were 12 points clear of finishing in the Europa League places, and we were 18 points clear of missing out from European football. I thought the world had fallen apart when we got knocked out of Europa League, because I thought that was my only chance of actually winning a big trophy. And we've gone and won the biggest one, in my opinion, that we were qualified for in the first place. One thing I do want to do is have a look at some of the big heroes, is how I'm going to kind of phrase it, of this career mode. Playing 59 games, getting 48 goals in all competitions, 30 of which were in the Premier League. 30 goals in the Premier League, 9 assists. Massive respect to Mr. Lacazette. Honestly, the MVP of this episode. Unbelievable. Player of the episode goes to Lacazette. The most assists goes to our new signing, Luis Alberto, who also got himself 17 goals, but 23 assists is nothing to turn your nose up at. And we have to appreciate, Pepe got 36 goals in all competitions, including 18 assists. That's actually incredible. Some slightly unsung heroes, in my opinion, Torreira was fantastic, was an absolute main staple in the team for as long as he could be. A couple of suspensions and the odd game where he had to be dropped out because of, say, fitness or maybe a knock. For me, Torreira was unbelievable. I have to say, I'm incredibly happy with Martinelli. When he was needed, he clutched up. He really, really did. 2 goals in the Premier League, which is very, very good in 7 appearances for a young man playing on the left wing as well. Let's remember that. I gave him a bit of stick at times because only 8 goals in 45 appearances isn't good enough for Aubameyang. It really isn't. Yes, he wasn't playing at striker, he was playing on the wing, but let's not forget that massive goal against Tottenham. Probably the most important goal of the entire episode. Big shout out to Bellerin being our captain for the entire thing as well. I feel like I made a good choice. Let's go that far. I made a good choice in the captaincy. And some respect on the name of our centre-backs, Socrates, Bonucci, and even David Luiz. He wanted to leave, ended up playing 38 games. Mate, big ups to all 3 of them. They were fantastic. But guys, I'm going to leave you on the best screen we could possibly leave you on. Arsenal winning the Premier League. I did not expect to win the Prem at all. Like I said, I just didn't. So Arsenal, board of directors, if you're watching, this is my official application for the job as and when you get rid of Emery. Because boys, now you've seen this, now you've seen Hursty do it, it can't be much harder than real life, right? Right? But all jokes aside, hopefully you guys did enjoy this. Of course, leave a like if you did. Let me know down below if there's any other teams you'd actually be interested in seeing me do this kind of thing with. It's taken me about 3.5 hours to film this. It's probably going to take me at least double that to edit it and get it all rendered. And knowing my internet, it's probably going to take at least triple that to actually upload the blooming thing. But it was a lot of fun to film. If I can sit and have a few hours to actually get something like this done, then I will. I really enjoyed it. But please do leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, smash that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and hit on the notification bell to be told anytime we upload a video, or of course, we go live with a live stream. But for now guys, I want to say a massive thank you for watching. I've been Tom, you guys have been awesome, and I really appreciate you watching today. But above all else, look after yourselves. Thanks for watching.
Let's go. Hursty Games, and this how we do. Now it's time we team up. Check them online, you might catch them playing FIFA. Hey, yeah, you know we keep it live. Make sure to give a like and subscribe. Gaming channel, what's the best one? Keep it hella dope, hella fresh, huh? Yeah, Hursty Games, tune in. Even told my grandmama, sister, and my best friend. You might want to check them if you want to be entertained. You already know the name. Check us out, Hursty Games. Hey, whoop. Make sure to give a like and subscribe.